Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of 30 Art Circle, and I hope all of you are doing very well. Today I have been given the opportunity to host, and Imad has been doing it so well for a period of time, so I thought I should steal some of his limelight. Uh, as always, I have Imad alongside me, and today we're going to sort of preview the first test, Pakistan versus Bangladesh. Uh, there was a bit of a cricketing drought that we had for the past couple of months. बहुत सारा drama about the Pakistan cricket team, and eventually जो eventual game है that when we'll get to see the players actually play the game. So वो अब the time has come that we're going to see that, and there's a lot to talk about. Pakistan plays the first Test match on the 21st of August in the Rawalpindi Stadium. So let's jump right into it. Imad, squad आ गई है. What do you make of the entire Pakistan squad?
Yeah, basically great to have cricket back. Honestly, Pakistan cricket team they haven't been performing so well in the last few months. But then ये जो break आया, I really missed watching our players, and it's honestly great to have Pakistan cricket back as well as Test cricket back because I feel like it's been ages since मैंने पाकिस्तान को red ball cricket खेलते हुए देखा. So it's good that there's this patch. हम regularly red ball cricket ही खेल रहे होंगे, and it's going to be amazing. Honestly, I love red ball cricket. So yeah,
Yeah, I also think कि एक ये फैक्टर भी कि the last time we played एक sort of hype create हो गई थी when we played in Australia कि the team is sort of going in the right direction under a certain captain who has his way of doing things, which was pretty, we can say कि fan favorite था एक तरह से, कि people liked his way of commanding his team, or किस तरह how he went on and conducted himself on the field, and it all reflected on the team's performance as well. Although we did not manage to gain the results that we were after in Australia, but we were at points of the games we would have the game could have gone either way. So I think that showed a lot of potential, and leading उससे लेके अभी तक we had a pretty disappointing season as far as the other formats were concerned. So Test cricket coming back after a long break, it would be good for a change for us. So we should start with Shan Masood, and what do we expect of him in this series as a captain, as a leader?
yeah. So the thing is, that Shan was we know about the criticism Shan has received throughout these years, and people think he is sort of a golden boy who does get a lot of preferences a lot of time, and so I feel like that perception changed in the Australian tour. I don't think anyone expected us to win, but just the reason I performed kiya tha in patches that was really good. And as you said, it looked like the team is going in the right direction. I think Shan is now sort of a fan favorite at this point, and hopefully his stature as a fan favorite cricketer would rise even more after the series. That is because लोगों ने शान की कैप्टनसी देखी and then right after that they saw what Babar Azam was doing in the World Cup or या फिर the series before that, and so people realize कि मतलब कितना ज़्यादा जो है वो difference है. And then Amir Jamal का वो interview in which he said कि Shan is not attacking enough, and also the other thing is कि बाबर के जो एरा था थ्री फॉर्मेट्स में कैप्टनसी का, #1 nation under Babar, उसमें people like had forgotten कि कैप्टनसी क्या होती है. उन्हें नहीं समझ में आ रहा था.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think if you look at certain things that the newly appointed team management, or you could say the entire setup, and including the captain of the test side, would be focusing on right now, is setting some landmarks, some bringing some optimism into the side after
Yeah.
such a season. तो उसके बाद they'll want के कुछ positive निकले ताकि people start performing, especially the cricketers who sort of were thrown under the bus by the PCB and the fans as well. including Babar, Babar Rizwan, Shaheen, and all that, fiasco that we had with Saya. तो वो वाली पूरी चीज़ आई थिंक कि उसको ओवरशैडो करने के लिए भी इट इज़ इम्पेरेटिव कि जो प्लेयर्स हैं दे गो आउट ऑन द फील्ड एक्सप्रेस देमसेल्व्स एंड अंडर अ कैप्टन हु सपोर्ट्स people expressing themselves and having an aggressive style of play or doing something different basically. So I think what started from the Sri Lankan Test tour last year to leading up to this, I think we'll see eventually how well the team has the 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 mindset of the team has changed. We'll talk about Shan. I think थोड़ा सा specifics पे आते हैं. What do you make of the squad that Pakistan has put together for this Test series? A couple of people had an opinion about there being the sole spinner Abrar Ahmed, and then eventually we found out that Abrar was released from the squad for the first Test, and he played into the Shaheen's 11. ताकि that indicated obviously that he won't be part of the first test. So एक तो that what do you think कि ये क्या amplify करता है? What does this what is its significance के पाकिस्तान क्रिकेट टीम किस तरह की pitches पे फोकस कर रही है? How does the whole structure now depend on the pitches? Especially we're playing in Rawalpindi, which is historically अब तो खैर हिस्ट्री की बात करना is somewhat फजूल होगी बात करना स्पेशली आफ्टर दैट रैम्बो एरा तो योर फेवरेट तो आई थिंक कि उससे पहले वाली इट यूज्ड टू बी अ प्रीटी गुड सरफेस टू प्ले टेस्ट क्रिकेट ऑन
Yes.
बैलेंस सरफेस थी यू हैड ग्रेट अमाउंट ऑफ movement for the fast bowlers, something in it for the spinners as well, and obviously runs were being scored as well. So overall, all things considered, squad के बारे में पहले कि what do you make of it?
Okay, so fast bowling is galooring right now in that squad, and they think they are going to prepare tracks which are going to challenge Bangladesh बहुत ज़्यादा. If you remember, COVID में एक tour हुआ था बांग्लादेश का टेस्ट हुआ था. I think just before COVID, उसमें नसीम शाह ने हैट्रिक भी ली थी. They also prepared those kind
Yes,
of tracks in that series as well. तो पहले मेरा
yeah,
कंसर्न था कि जो है वो ये फैब्रिकेटेड कर रहे हैं बहुत ज़्यादा एंड दे शुडंट बी that focus towards green tracks. Instead, ये पिंडी की जो natural surface है उसी को देखें. But it eventually turned out, some people told me कि Pindi does behave very. It does tend to favor fast bowlers a lot, even in the Qaeda Azam Trophy. So I guess they're
I
going
think
in the right direction. मेरा concern जो है वो कराची को लेके.
या
या बोलिए.
अब तो हाँ आई वाज जस्ट एडिंग कि जो एक फैक्टर ये हो सकता है व्हाट व्हाट पीपल लाइक मी से राइट नाउ कि वेदर का डिफरेंस और यू कुड से जो सीजनल डिफरेंस था व्हेन बांग्लादेश प्लेड लास्ट टाइम आई थिंक इट वाज अराउंड दैट द विंटर स्टेज द लेटर हाफ ऑफ द ईयर और अभी हम थोड़े से वी जस्ट लेटिंग गो ऑफ समर्स इवन अप नॉर्थ तो आई थिंक वो फैक्टर था विच पीपल वर क्वेश्चनिंग अबाउट कि क्या पिचेस उस तरह से प्रिपेयर हो पाएंगी क्या विल द पिचेस बी अंडर कुक्ड फॉर गोइंग इनटू द सीरीज तो आई थिंक उसकी बात कर रहे थे और हाँ यू मेंशनड कराची तो अपडेट कराची की तो यही है कि द टेस्ट हैज़ बीन शिफ्टेड to Pindi. They're preparing the stadium for the Champions Trophy. We do not know कि क्या preparation हो रही होगी इतनी क्या खास because I've been to the stadium and it's it's just like it बस छत डाल दी है ऊपर and the infrastructure is so poor. So hopefully fingers crossed they do work on it. But what do you think कि एक ही उस पे दोनों टेस्ट खेलना क्या what do you make of it?
I always get such ick when this sort of thing happens because Sari test nations, even West Indies, वगैरह and Sri Lanka, they all play their test matches on different surfaces, and that really adds value to the series because different challenges आते हैं फिर. And इसीलिए even during COVID, I didn't really like कि वो एक ही ग्राउंड पे मैचेस हो रहे होते थे सारे. बट आई गेस वी कैन रियली डू एनीथिंग. द कंस्ट्रक्शन वाला जो मसला है वो तो है. मुल्तान आई वाज क्यूरियस अबाउट मुल्तान. पता नहीं मुल्तान में क्यों नहीं इन्होंने किया. मे बी मुल्तान में भी कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रही होगी. मे बी समथिंग लाइक दिस. आई थिंक शायद होटल्स का भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम था. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean I do understand why they've taken this decision, but I just don't like it. कि जो I feel like कि वैल्यू थोड़ी सी गिर जाती है. चैलेंज थोड़ा कम हो जाता है अगर एक ही वेन्यू पर दो टेस्ट हो जाए.
Yeah, So I agree what you're talking about. As a fan, so the viewing experience, sort of jitters down because you were expecting different tactics on different surfaces and all that. आपके captains or even teams performers का different, एक different side सामने आती है when they're faced with different challenges. Uh, we also talk about Abrar Ahmed and him being, part not being part of the first test. What do you think कि एक तो ये factor है we talked about कि Pakistan cricket team favoring the its fast bowlers galore, but Salman Ali Agha पे कुछ ज़्यादा ही reliance है, they're going for him almost as a front line spinner. तो अबरार को नहीं, they did not include him into the attack. I for one, just before you start कि I saw this opinion on
I
Twitter
mean,
as
not
well.
all.
सो टॉकिंग अबाउट आई थिंक कि सलमान अली आगा पे बात करते हैं, पाकिस्तान ओवर रिलायंस ऑन सलमान अली आगा एंड द फैक्ट दैट पाकिस्तान डिड नॉट इंक्लूड अबरार अहमद इनटू द फर्स्ट टेस्ट स्क्वाड. आई थिंक कि that speaks on the volume of the level of trust the management have on Salman Ali Yao. Although he had done well previously in the previous series as well, but what do you think कि, इसके पीछे सिर्फ यही रीज़न है या कोई और टैक्टिकल रीज़न भी हो सकता है?
Nico, I am very, very sad about Abrar. I think the guy has performed so well whenever he's played. But उसका कोई problem है कि they're trying to go in a different direction and Salman Ali Agha has done so well with the ball in Australia. I mean, I always think about the turn he got against Marnus Labuschagne, the dismissal. I went crazy after that. And so I feel like there I can understand why I've taken this decision, and it's good कि उन्होंने squad के साथ carry नहीं किया. Just like you remember how Abdul Shafiq was carried for a year and like उसने पूरा domestic season miss कर दिया था and everything. So शुक्र है they have not taken this decision and they're essentially they've released him to play for Shaheen. But yeah, Gillespie has also mentioned how Salman Ali Agha is a proper frontline spinner.
So just अबरार वाले पॉइंट पे we talked about it. उसके अलावा I think the first test 11 is also here. Pakistan have announced
Yeah.
what they're going to go as. So we're essentially having the four pacers. We have Shaheen, Fridi, and Naseem Shah. We have Mohammad Ali. And what do you make of the fourth pacer Pakistan has? There were questions about sort of a competition between Khurram and Mir Hamza. They went with Khurram eventually. So उसके बारे में क्या? What do you think?
That is the correct decision to take because you if Naseem is playing, he needs to take the new ball, and I don't think Mir Hamza is that effective as the first change. So it had to be Shaheen and Naseem with the new ball. Khurram Shehzad is very efficient with the old ball. We saw how well he bowled Australia के first test में. He got injured beach में. But yeah, so I think that's a correct decision that is taken. I'm really sad about Amir Jamal. The guy got injured after bowling so well in Australia. But Mohammad Ali, the way he's played in the PSL, we can expect he's going to do well, I guess. And he's done really well for Shaheen's as well.
Yes, he has. उसके अलावा the second thing, एक तो the middle order is almost all as expected what we had in mind. We discussed it earlier as well. बाकी उसके अलावा up top, I think for me the surprise, you could not say surprise, but थोड़ा सा shocking था that they went with Saim. It could be a pleasant shock or you could have it either way. But I thought कि Hurraira, after all this time, the man averaged around 50 consecutively for two domestic seasons. So do you think he deserved a chance, especially जब पहले वो बात हुई थी when we had that Sarfraz versus Rizwan debate in the first Australian Test. So Shan talked about the fact that uh, giving chances to domestic performers. He basically said that giving chances to domestic performers over the continuity of having the similar lineups. So he gave that reasoning. Okay, we are valuing the domestic performers, but in this case, you could say that Pakistan went with continuity instead of giving Hurraira a go. Abdullah Ghad, obviously we all had in mind that he would be given a go, but Hurraira over Saim इस बात पे क्या what are your thoughts?
I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised. Because the point is that Saim Ayub is also a domestic performer. Don't get me wrong. I think it's about how Hurraira is a much better domestic performer than Saim, and it's sort of a double-edged sword because Saim को आपने सिडनी में थर्ड टेस्ट में जो है वो डेब्यू करवाया. When Pakistan was already 2-0 down, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, all three were basically breathing fire with the new ball. So yeah, even with the old ball. So the thing is कि आप जो है साइम को अबैंडन कर दें थर्ड टेस्ट सिडनी में एक डेब्यू करा के that wouldn't have been the best thing. But at the same time, Hurraira has performed so well कि again उसका बेंच पे बैठना it also doesn't make sense. So I'm very confused about this honestly. But अगर मैं होता तो I would have gone with Hurraira with Saim being as a third option.
Yeah, I agree, but I think what you talked about right now makes much more sense. They obviously would have said that this will do much greater, harm to the confidence of Saim Ayub कि उसको just after this debut test drop करना, rather than giving confidence to Hurraira, who's someone who could wait for a bit longer, maybe try him out. Pakistan test season is comparatively lengthier than we used to have earlier on. We are playing, I think, 9 test matches in a lesser span this time round. So we would have the opportunity of eventually playing Hurraira. So I think उस stage पे I think it's a good decision. Moving on, what do you expect of the series? यानी performances के बारे में, what do you make of the players, and who do you think would be the top performers for Pakistan?
I think there will be a collapse. There will definitely be a collapse on that pitch. And इसमें जो है वो I feel like Rizwan might be on the rescue mission. उस collapse में. But yeah, एक तो ये वाली चीज़ हो गई. इसके अलावा I think Naseem Shah will do really well as he always does. He's gonna replicate his performances. जैसे श्रीलंका में दी थी. And yeah, and इसके अलावा I expect Khurram Shehzad to do really well as well. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think again, I would have talked about the pick of the bowlers. I would have gone in the seam as well, and I would also say I think Mohammad Ali could be some sort of a wild card, something that the Bangladeshis would not be expecting much of.
हाँ.
But I think he could eventually, because he has that habit of surprising the batsman uh, with the way he bowls. So I think he could be the surprise package from our side. Baki batting में I absolutely echo your thoughts about Rizwan. I think I also believe कि एक collapse तो होगा ही होगा, and we would end up. We already know how Shan will get out, and we could absolutely predict his dismissals as well. I think तो एक wicket को तो we could keep in mind. But it's sort of the way it could go both ways for Pakistan. Even he could make loads of runs with that same approach and get out quite early as well. उसके अलावा I think middle order में yeah, we could also talk about Saud Shakeel, the new vice captain of Pakistan cricket team. So what do you make of this
हाँ.
decision by the management?
Yeah, to be honest, vice captain doesn't really matter. I think, like as an example, Oli Pope was appointed England's vice captain very young. Now he has to captain against Sri Lanka. But thing is that आजकल के ज़माने में there's so much help from the dressing room and stuff. कि I don't think एक problem है. And South Shakeel is someone who has like always captain in his career. So not the best decision, but that just really shows that PC might just be done with Babar.
Obviously that's a debate or a topic for another day, but I agree
But
कि
but we but talking about Babar, we're talking about the type of dismisses, right? What do we expect from Babar in the series? Do we expect his weaknesses against spin to come out once again, or do we expect a test cricket where he's gonna be much better? And I think he's gonna score 100. वैसे चार innings mistake and he was 100 हो गया.
Yeah, I think the standard Babar has set for himself is quite high, even after the disappointing performances he's had in the other formats lately. उसके बाद भी उसके बावजूद we expect him to do well. Obviously, we hope for him to do well for Pakistan as well. But I think कि अगर Babar gets out on versus spin on pace friendly wickets, so I think it will have more to do with his technique and rather than something out of the pitch because earlier on
That's
even in
definitely
Sri
weighs into the
Lanka.
alignment.
या हाँ तो वही बात है कि टेक्निकल जो एस्पेक्ट है आई थिंक वो हाईलाइट तब ज़्यादा होगा इफ़ ही गेट्स आउट वर्सेस स्पिन अभी भी पेस ऑब्वियसली वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग द पिचेस टू बी पेस फ्रेंडली एंड ऑब्वियसली इट वोंट बी दैट इजी टू बैट तो उस केस में तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ऑब्वियसली बाबर but I always say that Babar, when I see Babar batting in Test, which the runs he makes are so good to watch that a person enjoys him. जितने भी कम हो obviously you fear कि Babar will get out eventually बहुत जल्दी ना out हो जाए play in his sort of the way he plays but I think if Babar just manages to keep his cool out there and just negate the earlier phases and stages of the new ball and also when he comes on to bat, so I think he'll eventually go and score runs. Might be the top two run scorers of our side.
Yeah, and he should be.
Yeah, obviously he should be as well. So I think we're done with most of
Yeah.
the things for the preview. But do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how you've taken this decision about Kookaburra balls and using Duke balls in first class and Kookaburra in Test cricket. I just think it should have been other way around because it is hard to take wickets from Kookaburra, so you should prepare your bowlers more to put in the hard yards with the Kookaburra ball in domestic cricket, and then give them the best possible conditions in Test cricket. But they have chosen to go the other way around. Maybe it might be a defensive move because दूसरी side के bowlers will also get to take the ball. So,
या आई थिंक कि वो थोड़ा सा कोई हाइब्रिड मॉडल सा फॉर्म करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे वो आई थिंक कि करें भी आगे जाके या क्या सीन हो बट आई थिंक कि they're trying to what they're trying to do is have the bowlers being exposed to both type of the balls and they work on the harder balls and then deliver on the वही जो आपके वाली आपने जो बात की but I think कि स्ट्रक्चर में विल टॉक अबाउट इन वन ऑफ आवर फ्यूचर पॉडकास्ट आई थिंक उस वक्त हम ज़्यादा डिटेल में इससे बात कर सकते हैं I think this is something that is in progression and in linkage with the other decisions that they've made, especially with certain appointments up top as the advisors, or you could say the advisors to the chairman, or some old new faces coming back into the sides, into the Pakistan management system. So I think उससे भी इसका ताल्लुक हो सकता है, वकार भाई having his influence on everything. और
yeah.
तो आई थिंक कि उसका उसका इससे ज़्यादा ताल्लुक होगा इसका बट आई
Mhm.
थिंक
So what
पाकिस्तान
are no, bolo bolo.
हाँ मैं ये कह रहा हूँ पाकिस्तान गोइंग इनटू द फर्स्ट टेस्ट ऑब्वियसली आर द फेवरेट्स टू eventually win the game and the series as well but as always we could expect anything from Pakistan and they would deliver something extremely different, that mercurial aspect about the Pakistan cricket team. So,
Mhm.
what are your predictions about the series or the first test?
So I think the pitch won't turn out to be as green जितना ये लोग try कर रहे हैं. The ball will start coming to the bat as we go. So we might expect low scores in the first two innings, but बाद में जाके we might see a lot of runs being scored and fourth innings chases भी हो सकते हैं. So that is one part. As I mentioned before, I do expect that Naseem Shah will do really well, and I I still have doubts over Abdullah in terms of how he shouldn't be batting at the kind of batter he is. He should be batting at number three, playing that Pujara role to protect Babar Azam. But they have decided to go the other route, and I can understand why they're trying to do that. But yeah, so predictions. I think Pakistan is going to win the test match. Pakistan is going to win the test series. I think 2-0. But what do you think? I don't think there won't be any draws, Bessa.
हाँ, ड्रॉज होने भी नहीं चाहिए। आई थिंक द वेदर इज प्रीटी क्लियर इज वो वाले एस्पेक्ट से भी, सो वी वोंट हैव। खैर, पिंडी इज प्रीटी अनप्रेडिक्टेबल, यू कुड नॉट से एनीथिंग, बट द फोरकास्ट लुक
Um,
क्लियर। आई थिंक
I,
हाँ, उसके
I
अलावा
didn't think about कि जिस
हाँ
तरीके से ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाली मैच जो ने बिहेव किया था या इंग्लैंड वाली मैच ने बिहेव किया था, ओह माय गॉड, horrific.
हाँ
It was such a
Yeah, we also had, I think we had a T20 game versus or an ODI versus New Zealand. So उसमें hailstorm out of nowhere, and the ground staff had to cover themselves up in the covers, and everyone had to rush back into dugouts. So I think so you can never say anything about the weather that Rawalpindi holds for you, but the best viewing experience in Pakistan it offers. So people people like to watch the games over there. So I think
हाँ,
uh, in conclusion, I think Pakistan should do well. There should be a lot of learnings from this series. I also think Pakistan should be implementing, sort of a rotational policy as far as it comes to the bowlers, the pacers especially. Obviously, उसके बाद आ रहे हैं gap के बाद, and they must be the fittest of the lot to be playing right now. But उसके बाद भी, they need to have themselves ready for the upcoming season. So you never know, trying new faces uh, for the next match, if inshallah Pakistan is the first one. But I do expect that Bangladesh will trouble us. It won't be any easy win.
definitely.
That Pakistan have a rollover or something, a walkover or something. So, but fingers crossed. We hoping for a great series and Pakistan do well. That I think that is it from this session
I
of.
sort of disagree. Just a final point. I disagree on the rotational policy. I think you should rest your bullets and use the T20 bilaterals instead of World Test
Uh,
Championship
yeah,
games.
सही है। I take my point back. I thought as I was speaking about it कि हाँ, it was something wrong. सही है। I agree कि Pakistan could obviously, with the fact कि obviously कोई injury is concerned now, उसके अलावा we had the case with Amir Jamal. उसके अलावा if we talk about it, I think we should go. आई एग्री विद यू कि ये वाली बात सही है, क्योंकि वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप्स ऑन द लाइन, वी कुड इवेंचुअली मेक इट टू द फाइनल इफ वी गो फॉर स्ट्रेट victories, and which we should be aiming for as well under the new leadership in the dugout as well. I agree. I take my point back. So anything else to add, Ahmad?
Yeah, just a final point. Uh, our video will probably buffer as you watch this episode. It is all thanks to the internet crisis that is happening right now in this country. So apologies for that.
Yeah, we this is the third time we tried to record everything, and I think it won't be the perfect recording, and the discussion flow is also interrupted oftentimes, and we have to do things over and over again. But hopefully, things obviously are looking very bleak right now, but we hope for the best as always and pray that we have a better setup next time that is provided to us. So I think this is it from our side. The this the episode where we preview the Pakistan versus Bangladesh first test and eventually the test series as well. Hope you all liked it. We would love to hear your suggestions and feedback in the comments. This is it from my side. Allah Hafiz.
You got me.